Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into something absolutely fascinating. We're unpacking an incredibly profound ancient mystical text from Codex 11, known as the Interpretation of Knowledge. We'll be doing a fully impartial analysis to trace its spiritual journey, and it's a wild ride. We're talking about a journey that takes us all the way from the chaotic, exhausting noise of a fractured world straight into a profound, luminous unity. It's really a brilliant piece of ancient philosophy, and we're going to look closely at exactly what the source material presents and how it builds its arguments. So, to really wrap our heads around this narrative, we have to start right where it establishes its ultimate cosmic framework. The Codex introduces a highly specific, unique definition for the concept of stauros, or the cross. Now, what's super interesting here is that the source material doesn't primarily define the cross as a physical object of suffering. Not at all. Instead, it's described as a rigid boundary. Think of it as a cosmic dividing line. According to the document, this boundary is put in place through the intervention of the Savior to permanently separate that which is temporary and passing from that which is eternal. It literally sets the entire stage for the spiritual journey we're about to explore. Here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, the descent into the world of forgetfulness. Second, one body, many different gifts. Third, the paradox of silence and the human ego. And finally, the triumph of knowledge and the power of love. All right, let's jump right into part one, descent into the world of forgetfulness. This ancient narrative opens with a pretty stark diagnosis of our reality. It explicitly states that the world is a place of deficiency and forgetfulness, which inevitably leaves a profound emptiness in our hearts. And think about how relatable that is, even today. Long before modern psychology was a thing, this document was diagnosing a fundamental feeling of existential emptiness. The central idea is that the world itself is inherently lacking, and because we're so immersed in it, we forget our true origins, and well, that leads to that deep internal void. Okay, so what's the fix for all this emptiness? The text lays out a massive, multi-step cosmic intervention. Step 1, the nameless Father observes our division and our broken state. Step 2, he sends the word down to heal us. And step 3, which is absolutely crucial to the anthropology presented here, the Savior actively takes on a form of humiliation. He enters into our physicality to fill the emptiness in our hearts. The writing beautifully frames this by saying the Savior becomes small so that humanity can grow. It's an intervention based entirely on descending into our lack in order to lift us out of it. Moving on to section 2, one body, many different gifts. To understand community, the Codex makes a dramatic shift. It moves from a cosmic scale right down to human interaction, and it uses an incredibly vivid metaphor to do it. It asks the reader, does the hand say to the eye, I don't need you? Or does the foot say to the head, I am not part of you? This bodily comparison is used to point out just how absurd it is for people who have received knowledge to envy or isolate themselves from one another. I mean, if you're part of the same body, attacking another part is literally attacking yourself. Building on that exact metaphor, the text wants us to notice the diverse gifts originating from a single root within a community. There's prophecy where the Father speaks to everyone. There's deep knowledge of hidden mysteries. And then there's just simple, profound faith. The document makes a really firm argument here. No single gift should ever be elevated over another. Whether you possess deep, esoteric, hidden knowledge, or you just have a very simple, grounded faith, neither makes you superior. You are all functioning parts of the exact same organism. And here is the absolute kicker. The crucial takeaway is explicit. Without unity, knowledge is nothing more than an empty sound. It really doesn't matter how many hidden mysteries you understand. If you use that knowledge to elevate yourself above someone with simple faith, your knowledge is rendered entirely useless. The document reminds its readers that everyone comes from a single root, and everyone returns to that same root. So intellectual superiority, at least in the eyes of this philosophy, is a complete illusion. Which brings us to section 3, the paradox of silence and the human ego. This is where things get really psychological. The spiritual journey directly confronts the human ego by drawing a huge line in the sand between academic learning and what it calls true knowledge. True knowledge is presented as a living breath. It's not something you can just possess by checking out some books from the library. It inherently unifies everyone who hears it. But the most fascinating requirement laid out here is the need for absolute silence. The idea is that you literally have to quiet your mind, let go of your own ego, so that the divine can actually speak. Only in that silence does the memory of the pleroma, which is the divine totality or fullness, awaken within us. I absolutely love this phrasing from the source material. Listen to this. The soul does not say proudly, I know, but in humility confesses,
I am part of the whole. Think about the difference there. You have the noisy, boastful ego that wants to claim individual ownership over information versus the humble soul that just recognizes its place within a much larger unity. Claiming I know acts as a trap of the ego, while saying I am part of the whole is the ultimate expression of truth.
But, this isn't just about sitting in a silent room somewhere. This mystical silence is totally grounded in actual physical human behavior. Reaching out to a brother in love is presented as exactly the same as reaching out to God. Furthermore, serving the community literally breaks the slavery of time. This is such a profound anthropological connection. The philosophy doesn't tell you to escape the world by retreating away from everyone. Rather, it frames human action, love, and community service as the very mechanisms through which we escape the temporal bounds of the physical world. And finally, Section 4, the triumph of knowledge and the power of love. So how does this all wrap up? We come to the ultimate resolution of our journey, built upon this really wild, fascinating paradox presented by the Redeemer. I am life, which divides in order to unite you all. It's a striking concept, isn't it? Life steps into the fractured, divided world and uses that very division, taking on individual, small, physical forms, as the ultimate strategy for overarching unification. The division is just a temporary tool used to gather everything back into a single, unified whole. As we get near the end, the ancient document doesn't pull any punches. It issues a very clear directive to its readers regarding how they should live, creating a stark contrast between laws and knowledge. It explicitly instructs the reader, do not seek salvation in laws that bind and restrict you. Instead, seek it in the knowledge that frees the heart. It completely rejects the spirituality based on rigid, rule-based obedience. Instead, it favors an internal, liberating understanding that is entirely driven by love. Now, let's tie it all back to where we started, that concept of the stauros from the beginning of this explainer. The text states that through this boundary of the cross, the ignorance of the world is finally defeated. The boundary holds back the passing, temporary world of forgetfulness and actively opens up the path to the Father. But notice the big condition applied here. This path is open specifically for those who are walking in love. And here we are at the ultimate secret of the text. The Codex declares that the beginning and the end meet in a silence full of light, without any division. It is just a stunning philosophical concept. All the noise of the world, all the deficiency, the forgetfulness, and that separated ego, it all finally resolves. But it resolves not into nothingness. It resolves into a luminous, unified silence, where the end perfectly loops back to meet the beginning. So, what does this all mean for us today? Based on everything we've just unpacked from this ancient text, we have to ask ourselves, in our incredibly noisy, hyper-connected world, can we still find the silence that unites us? Can we still set aside the ego of saying, I know, and find the humility to say, I am part of the whole? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this deep dive into Codex XI has sparked your curiosity to explore these profound themes in your own life.